Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. He looks like defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Faymonville Approach. In the north it is Eternal, fighting here for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, and the 4th Guards tank Coh here with guard motor, airborne troops, and defensive tactics. Double infantry mines. In the south it is Finndeed, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 3rd Panzer Division featuring defensive, German mechanized, and Spearhead. Quite a collection of commanders there. With pack infantry and panzerfaust bulletins. Dumb engineers, conscripts for Eternal, like to see a bit more territory in the early game. Indeed, with a more standard Grenadier MG42 build. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Champion and Heroes One and all. Other people can join their illustrious ranks and become Patreon supporters. And get my undying gratitude by pledging on Patreon themselves. Links in the video description. Donations via PayPal also appreciated. You can also find a link to that. And finally, you can comment, like, share, subscribe, press the bell button. Anyways, we're off to the races here. Pioneers versus MG4 Engineers, MP40s versus mercenary guns. More conscripts there for Eternal. Indeed, heading south as the MG42 guns towards the centre here. And we can see both players, by the way, focusing on the southern fuel point and getting control of the centre to sort of control that then. Typically, it tends to be like, split between either securing the southern compartment or securing the north here. In this case, both players are intent on getting the south here. So whoever gets the win, he obviously gets a bit of an advantage. Though, of course, it also depends on how quickly the other players are able to adapt to this situation. So there's certainly a lot here going on already there. Machine Gun 40 backed up with the Grenadiers. Engineers holding up here for a bit further. MG42 moving in there. 2nd Grenadier squad almost ready here for Finndeed. 3rd Con squad there for Eternal. Gonna flank in and hit the machine. Ooh, not quite the MG42's blind spot, though the other squad here definitely will. And Finndeed is not quite ready for that. The Pioneers not able to support. The other Grenadiers can't assist either, so I think it's going to be treated of MG42. Eternal here basically turned the tables on Finndeed, who's starting to look like he's going to control in the south here, but now Eternal is... oh, maybe not. He popped into the building, and Eternal is not getting grenades, so this could work out for Finndeed after all. Though it's definitely going to be close if it does work out. Looks like he's repushed the machine gun again to assist the Grenadiers, punishing forwards. More Grenadiers here for Finndeed. With the current build order here, Eternal's gone for, it's very likely it's going to be guard motor, as always. I mean, there's airborne troops, there's defensive, but just guard motor is by far the most picked Soviet commander, simply because it is by far the most straightforward and powerful at the same time. Pioneers moving forwards here, 3rd Grenadier squad almost done there for Finndeed. I imagine we'll be seeing some tech here, though he could try and go for a 4th Grenadier squad. That said, he's a bit behind on fuel because, again, the fighting for the sun fuel point hasn't quite worked out his way here. So he could go for another Grenadier squad or something else before then committing to it. We'll have to see, though. You will have to see. Guns being forward here for Finndeed. Engineers in the centre there. Suppressing the conscripts. Very good. No tech to get further here. Again, more Grenadiers or a mortar. Pushing forward against suppressed troops. There you go. Eternal here with the pretty much Eternal choice of guard motor. Here's the conscripts here. Machine gun forwards here for Finndeed. Grenadiers in dining is reinforcement there. No, he can take up soon as well, but he is in fact going for that 4th Grenadier squad first, which honestly, again, considering the resource flow, makes sense. But he could have tried hold out and then maybe push out a Panzer Grenadier squad instead. Which would be my personal preference, but oh well. Still needs to connect the fuel point now as well, so definitely a bit of a rough start here for Finndeed. Admittedly, Eternal's not getting a lot of fuel either. They've really just been sort of bogged down here, but at least we can see there, Eternal starts slightly dispatch some troops here, though again, arguably Finndeed could have kind of maybe tried to do the same, but not quite as easily though. So, all the squad that close being wiped out need to retreat. He needs to take up soon, I think. Got barbed wire in the south here from Finndeed's Pioneers. Grenadiers flanking on the conscripts. 6 kills, veterans 1. Finally pushing northwards there. Got news pushing forwards there with a flamethrower. The Rocks 3. Grenadiers there in need of reinforcements. Of course, they also need for tech. Pioneers grab this on the victim. But now, Finndeed has managed to stabilize here against Eternal. Though, of course, Eternal can soon look to destabilize that once more. For example, with a heavy mortar, which is definitely going to be quite useful, just flashing out that machine gun there. Or just going for guards, and just, overall very solid as well. But part of me definitely, expects a heavy mortar soon, and I think Finndeed's also starting to realise that might be a thing there, so he's getting more active using his machine gun, which is good. He typically has the Wehrmacht anyways, want to use the machine gun flexibly. Tech on the way there, but also I think particularly because Faymonville Approach is a very small map, it's a very compact map, meaning the heavy mortar in particular is like very powerful here, because it's much easier to set up close to your own base so you don't have to risk it as much, and then cover like a fat chunk of the map. Just going to get outmaneuvered by the conscripts. Do get the guard squad here first for Eternal, but again, I think under these circumstances, and again, the map, a heavy mortar like first would have been a very solid choice here. But obviously the guards are just very solid in and themselves, so not exactly a bad choice there either. It's like very difficult with guard motor in that sense to make a bad pick on this map. But there you go. Finndeed, though, exposed to the machine, got a chance to wipe here from Eternal, in which case Finndeed's going to be in some deep sauerkraut here, but he does narrowly avoid that fate. No command yet chosen here for Finndeed. At this point, he's starting to look like already either Spearhead or possibly mechanized, but instincts here for me would tell Spearhead. Guardsman forwards there, close to upgrading them. Finndeed once more finding his front line collapsing under repeated attacks from different angles here by Eternal. Heading northwards with the Grenadier squad there. Probably going to see an armoured car here for Finndeed. Very much the standard Wehrmacht approach. Go for an armoured car. And he's here busy with the tech support company into the Tank Lieutenant Command. There we go. 2-2 for Finndeed and the German army here. The 3rd Panzer Division. Grab northern point here. He's been forced with a flamethrower. Finndeed could be tempted to go for a flamethrower himself or just go for a bunch of light machine guns, but I think definitely some upgrades soon would be optimal. We shall see what Finndeed goes for. Going to bring out here. Machine heading southwards. 2-2 out there for Finndeed. Going using the south route here by Eternal, swiftly advancing troops there, no mercy shown. DP light machines on the way, tech for Eternal. Got the armoured car that's saying forwards and south machine gun moving forward to the Grenadier support in tow, but again, no upgrades here for any of Finndeed's frontline troops. Telemines or S-mines could also be a good addition if Finndeed is not upgrading right away. Getting down mines to disrupt any potential movements from Eternal would be an excellent thing to consider as well. But so far, Sam-X here for Finndeed and the 3rd Panzer Division. Armoured car north against the conscripts. Got the DP machine guns ready there. Oh, did they say 28? It's 27. Anyways, going to bring focus on the conscripts there. Or so they say DPM, which is the modernized version of the DP27, or modernized, but slightly better, improved version. I'm going southwards there, ground on the few point the Grenadiers. Up north here, pushed back by the conscripts. Bunker ready there for Finndeed. I imagine medics. We are getting one light machine gun up north here. Got the Grenadiers being pushed back the conscripts. T7 with it for Eternal. Finndeed will need a pack forward here then. Or theoretically, like more armoured cars, but most players never bother with more than one armoured car, in particular on a small map like Faymonville Approach, because it's an absolute pain in the posterior to have to manage these many armoured cars due to the pathing having, to put it gently, issues. Again, as they're reinforced, healed up. Can go for the pack 40 now. Retreating in the center to the flamethrower engineers, and basically his troops under such condition he can't resist the flamethrower there. Again, so flamethrower teams are quite powerful against the Wehrmacht. When he's grabbing the guards by the guardsmen. Teasing light tank out here, pack 40s only for Finndeed. A lot of back and forth action here, but still Eternal so far definitely having some of the leads here in terms of maneuvers and pressure, but obviously not like Finndeed is getting completely pushed over either. Teasing rushing southwards. Gets the fuel point in. There's an MD-42. Could try and pop the incendium piercing rounds, which sort of can help a bit versus the T-70, but obviously that quite, is aware of it. Could time it ahead of time, which he wasn't. Of course, if he had laid down a telemine here, that definitely could have taken out the T-70. It's typically one of the reasons why I do try to get out some telemines early, because when you disrupt and destroy that first allied light tank, you typically have yourself a fairly good hand. Or at least slightly less terrible. Yeah, reinforcement healing ME model chunking up pressure, grab this on the fuel point, dig in swift through the mines, very good there. If Indeed may want to consider just pushing for the northern resource points instead, ignoring the south here. That is, I think, a distinct option here for Indeed to right now consider. Versus Eternal. Quick grenade here, the RGD-33. Undercar flanking on the guardsman. Very good here. Pack 40 shoots. Get to go in the T-Sun light tank here. Wait, where's the... Oh, it's there. I was like trying to figure out what the Pack 40 was positioned. South here, better skirmishing, getting used with flamethrowers. Indeed. We'll definitely minesweeper soon then. Comes to the route it. Got 460 versus 438. T-Sun is 9 a bit away here. Pack 40 being pulled back in the south here. Gunny's being forwards. Carrying the Pioneers advance on the southern field point. External commander here for Finndeed. Pioneers setting a mine there. Coming towards the field point there to contest Finndeed's harassment. And we get a mortar from Finndeed. I think that's an excellent choice here. Pride takes and support versus Eternal. Though, of course, there's the potential of a counter mortar then from Eternal. But then again, at some point, he's inevitably going to go for the heavy mortar anyways, in most cases. So it's not like, you know, going for the mortar's going to like stop it anyway. Not going for it's going to stop it. But it could provide Finndeed with some more pressure tools versus Eternal, plus smoke screen to cover up attacks. So getting out the mortar is like a pretty good idea. Need to grab that field point though. And again, I feel like he needs to either consider like upgrading more of his gundiers, or he needs to consider like laying down some mines here. Part of me would definitely, I think, recommend some mines here. I mean, definitely more gundier light machines are great, but I think at this point he does have to consider like a chance to get the T-Sun faster is great, but also like at some point Eternal will start churning out those T-Fed farms here versus Finndeed, at which point having access to some telemines in the right places could be a significant boost here for Finndeed's chances of survival. Skirmishing around the centre here. Bit of murderous fire there up north. He's pushed back by the guardsman. 6 kills, half 8 2. We got the field in here for Eternal. Half 8 victims on that Grenade and Meerfa. Finndeed could also start taking up, and there we go. We do get Spearhead here for Finndeed with a mortar half track, Panzer Tactician, Recon's Flight, the Fragmentation Bomb, and of course the Tiger Tank. North East pumping seas with the Guardsman. Again, theoretically like a strong position, but it's also like a strong target for a heavy mortar. A mortar firing close to the conscripts, getting a bit of damage in there. North here push for the carve point. Sadly, though, straight into the flamethrower team and a lot of nasties with a low health squad. Costs Finndeed the Grenadier squad there. Great kill here for Eternal. And we got the Encore opening up the field about, and then you for 2 more Grenadiers for Finndeed. Would like to see enough Panzer Grenadier squad personally, but you know me, I always like to see them. Pack 4 Lancer in the T-Sun light tank, and use being suppressed. Good hit here. Could actually, I think, try to maybe take it out with the armored car. But I need to get the MD-42 out of there before that building collapses, I think. I mean, he avoided losing the machine gun, but didn't get the T-70R. I feel like that's a slightly missed opportunity, though I can understand not wanting to risk it. Particularly with that field gun there, which I missed the first time, so obviously no argument there. But I feel like during this engagement, as soon as it started, he could have popped into the RPS rounds because it is a strong ability in the MD-42, and I feel like that's something that Finndeed missed out on. Just being murdered here, but the Grenadiers troops pushed back. Mortar there, 3 kills, veteran 2-1, mortar firing down, they're going to move forward here, providing some light covering fire there. Field and holding light bombardment. And Aero comes from deep looking to suss out his opponent's possessions, maybe get an idea as to what to do next, or what opportunities he can take there crucially as well. Reconnaissance is an important tool. Comes moving forward here. Can't being mauled here, but light machine gun fire there, down to 1 Grenadier squad. They need Grenadier on that squad, needs to retreat. Back here we finally get some tech for Finndeed. Eternal has yet to move up himself the tech tree. Well, the match is definitely designed to like grind down around the centre, which partly is also, I think, common for Faymonville Approach. Again, it is a small and narrow map, so it has in that sense less room for manoeuvre. And so it tends to get a lot centre focused compared to other maps. I still feel like Finndeed could try and afford a few more troops up north. One thing he could try and do is maybe sneak some Pioneers ahead here, lay down telemines, and then grab the point. That way, you know, baiting the T-70 to respond to that. But obviously, again, Finndeed is under a lot of pressure, so, like, you know, he's got a lot to manage already. And here we go. Finally got the hay mortar out. Partially, I'd say I'm slightly surprised it took out this long, but even then, it's not like it's super late either. But either way, it's going to be a strong tool here for Eternal. and combined with the Guardsman and the T-35 is just the reason why this commander is so strong. It just offers like 3 very potent units that don't exactly require a ton of management and really pack a lot of punch for their costs. Toss in stuff like Mark Vehicle and stuff for Penn is like just very straightforward commander. We'll have to see what Finndeed does next here. Probably going to push for Panzer Force, which I do not fault him for. They're again very safe choices here, and certainly under the current circumstances. I would not blame him again for not getting like, you know, wildly experimental here versus Eternal. 4 kills in the mortar. But definitely he's like, you know, repositioning his stuff from time to time, because otherwise there's a good chance Eternal's going to hit him with a barrage from the heavy mortar, at which point Finndeed may feel a bit sad. There we go, got it from the field gun, the mortar crew there, killing Friedrich. Really close one there, forcing mortar retreat here. True to the Ultra in trouble as to get outflanked. Another nasty mortar hit here, getting several grenadier kills there. Mortar hit on that heavy mortar is really starting to rack up its value swiftly. Air recons again here from Finndeed. He could be tempted to go for the Ostfrontier, wouldn't blame him, but I think again in this case he either wants a Panzer IV route as a nice sort of all-around choice, or Stuks like maybe hunt down the T-70 fast, but also present a slightly bigger threat like any around T-34s. Heading northwards again, but again, Panzer IV, super likely here from Finndeed. Super likely. Grab northern point here. Constant see something about here. Grab the southern point. North east, T-70 constantly about there as well. Pioneer strong, and again, this is where it could, like, in ahead of time, maybe lay down some telemines before grabbing, at which point the T-70 could have, like, maybe hit one of those telemines, at which point, you know, boom, profit for Finndeed. North, they got the infantry to the council, they're suppressing them. Pinning them down. In the south here, we got the gunnies bringing in, engaging the engineers there. Small chance of wipe here if Eternal's a bit too slow here, or if Finndeed gets sufficiently lucky. Nothing further here transpiring for Finndeed. Gunnies bringing up here, field gun coming about here, rafting over the conscript. Ooh, slow response here, but not too slow either. Quickly route it. Mortar's in trouble. I feel like Finndeed might want to like switch more towards the north, at least a brief while. Maybe even try and swing in behind the Eternal's front and hit the mortar at that angle. I think that could be a very good idea here for Finndeed to consider versus Eternal. He's being pushed back by the Grenadiers. There we go, mechanized on my company for Eternal, but now Finndeed can go for the Panzer IV, and Finndeed should do so. He's also lost on the Grenadier squad, could replace that with more Grenadiers, or go for Panzer Grenadiers. He could also like consider like another mortar maybe, but that seems less likely. There you go, another Grenadier squad for Finndeed. Armed comes back up with the Pioneers. Getting up the Grenadiers to the front line, theoretically not bad, but I feel like you should have pulled them a bit further away from that. 40 taking a bit of a while here to actually get a shot off on the T-70. Great for Eternal there. And the pack misses on the second shot. That is some really rubbish luck there for Finndeed. Could he get it? Nah, probably not. North here, things are progressing slowly, and Pioneers pushed back, and the Celtic needs more to a bit of trouble there as well. We got the Panther IV almost done, but Finndeed is definitely getting bogged down a bit here by Eternal's defenses. But again, I also feel like too hard of a focus on here in the south, and again ignoring the otherwise lightly defended north here. Counter route it. Panther IV out here for Finndeed. Pin up machine being added. Thumbs up. 4 kills on the mortar team there, Veteran need 2, and we got 6 kills on the heavy mortar.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
There we go, more mobilized reserves here for Eternal. Armor car setting out. We'll have to see what comes next from Finndeed. But from Eternal, very likely T-3045s, and then probably a Katyusha. Like, and I always feel like, you know, when you got heavy mortars, you're just better off going for more heavy mortars than bothering with the Katyusha a good deal of the time. Air reconnaissance here. More mines here from Eternal. Thumbs up. Handful quickly pushed back. And again, north side is just seeing little to no action. I really feel like Finndeed may be suffering, starting to feel, that Finndeed may be suffering from some tunnel vision here on the map, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you're Eternal. Pack shoots at this heavy cover, doesn't quite land it. He's moving up, then getting the field gun crew, punishment as well there, more gunners arriving. Conscripts find their cover shattered before their very eyes. Heavy mortar fire there, or at least that's your mine, There's heavy mortar fire as well, then he is using the barrage ability. Panther arrives, gets a good kill, wiping the guard squad, removing one of Eternal's more valuable infantry units there. That's an excellent kill there for Finndeed. Definitely disruptability for Eternal to defend himself against Finndeed's attacks. Another MG42 for Finndeed. At this time, I'm not so sure about that one, actually. I am not so sure about that one. I actually think more infantry, and again, I know I keep saying it, Panzer Grenadiers, but, you know, another infantry squad to just grab up stuff in the north there. Just more pioneers, honestly, I think would serve Finndeed better than the MG42. Like, the heavy mortar, I feel like, just poses a slight tactical issue for Finndeed having too many machine guns and support weapons in general. So I'm not super sold on another MG42 here, personally. But again, more pioneers I think could also be an excellent choice here. But I really feel like Finndeed needs to like the northern side of the map here. Like, he needs to somehow at least get some more fuel consistently, because right now his opponent's getting so much more fuel than him, and he desperately needs more fuel. Like, imagine you control the fuel better, he probably could have like another Panther or at least a Stu by now. So I feel like there needs to be a bit more focus on fuel here. But then he's got the T-35 out here for Eternal. He's been guarded here by the T-70. Hand towards the conscripts. Shoots and misses. Mortar firing down. T-70, T-35 pushing the grenades in the south. You got the infantry team number 2 covering up here, but again against all the tanks. It's not really going to hold up here for Finndeed. He's finally again pushing northwards there. Very good. Pack 40 setting up here. Maybe Coh2 lining up a target weak point here. And the MG4 team gets wiped here. That said, Eternal won't be able to grab it, so at least that's something there for Finndeed. We've got 311 versus 377. T-34 85 maneuvers northwards here. Fun fact about the T-3485, the Germans back then would actually typically call it the T-43, as they assumed it was like, you know, consider that by the Soviets, but it wasn't. Even more fun fact, the Soviets actually had planned a T-43 tank at some point, but they scrapped it because of the war. And they said incorporate some of those changes from the T-43 into the T-34 series. Power check here for Eternal. Obviously to shoot down the air recons, but also put pressure there on Finndeed's infantry. Definitely good dual purpose unit there. T-7 pushed back once more, engineers in the south routed. Surprised again he's not committing more to north here though. Like, he's still focusing so much in the south here versus Eternal. He really does not want to fight in the north, can be my only assumption, which I guess is fair enough, but like, if he's going to like really want to push here, I think he'd use the more to deploy smoke here or around here and then make a push straight in like that way, trying to like just grab Eternal by the throat and just throttle him instead. Anyways, half check out here, equipped of course with the Quark mount in a few moments to shoot down Finndeed's air reconnaissance. Pan towards the conscripts. Gun is ringing as well there. Eternal is yet to replace his lost guard squad. Finndeed could soon go for a Stugan. Certainly at this point, I think going for a Stugan is going to be, necessary against all these tanks that Eternal will likely hit and will. Pack 40 can use some heavy lifting there for Finndeed against all the Soviet armor. Fangram the sun at fuel point. Machine gun movie as well. Going to use the pen towards the conquerors in the center here. Going to grab the center victory point again, at least attempt to. We got 233 with 377. And another pack 40 for Finndeed. Starting to get the suspicion he might be hoping to turn the tide here with a Tiger tank versus Eternal. T-55 bats that Gundy shoots and kind of whiffs on it. Down to 3-man. Mortify. Oh, sets off the mine, killing several engineers, damaging the engine of the T-35. Sadly, Finndeed doesn't look like any forces in position to exploit this otherwise great opportunity. Yeah, good mind to taught you stuff, you know. Don't park your things near your own mines. Hey, Yuri, yeah. I think we could park a little safer than right on top of our own mines. Don't worry, what's the worst that's gonna happen? The Germans will fire mortar rounds setting it off? Yeah, don't be boom. Silly. There you go, more push north here from Finndeed. Grab northern fuel and victory point. Starting to get some map control back here. Obviously helps the T-35 is at least a bit out of combat for now. Double pack 40s will also assist in holding out for that Tiger tank. Got both fuel points now, so again, if he's planning for the Tiger tank, he is definitely slightly better set off for it. Though it's still arguably slightly risky adventure versus Eternal here. There you go. One more resource for on the hand here, Finndeed. Katyusha rocket launch here for Eternal, not committing too heavily to the tank seat. And this with the T-70 here. Unless they can bait it into the Panther's range, I think he's better off just retreating, or at least getting a tank up there, which isn't happening either. No target weak point here attempted, but we do get the ace level on the Pack 40 crew. Katyusha halfway done. We got 232 to 236. T-70 flanking here, and we got, oh, the delay fused mortar bombs there. Panther takes out the T-70 finally here from Finndeed. A significant burden has been removed here from Finndeed's shoulders. In the south, they're concentrating up there, making good use of the train, the gaps made in it. To grab the southern vector point, also up flank here from Finndeed in the south. Thumbs up there to Eternal. But we got the Panther 4 striking back here for Deutschland. We got the T-35 from in. We also got the Katyusha out now. And we got Mark Big as well here. Eternal wants that Panther 4 dead. Ace Pack 40 getting hammered by Katyusha fire. Doesn't even move. Mortars also on top. There go the mortars, not only wiped but destroyed, depriving Finndeed of what little artillery we had here. Versus the turn I set up the Pack 48 again, but it's going to lose it. Doesn't even get the T-35 final turn here. A humongous blow here to Finndeed. Didn't just have the mortar entirely annihilated, but lost his pack. We've got Gunny's machine guns to at least cover that up. Panther's going to pursue the T-35. We got air reconnaissance, but there's, yeah, it's going to get shut down with a half track. There we go. Going for the car point here, but they're getting murdered, slaughtered in fact with the half track. Down to just one man. Finndeed's doing so much here, but he's causing to lose sight of the other things. And there we go, another Grenadier squad, another veteran Grenadier squad with the light machine gun. Bites it does. T-35 to assist the field gun here. It's complete chaos and pandemonium here. Finndeed to attempt to take out the T-35 has, I think, by all efforts, backfired on him. Yeah, it does feel like he is stalling for the Tiger tank here. We will need to fix up the Panther 4 Schnell. He's going for more Pioneers, at least for that purpose. We've got 233 to 284. T-35 seeing a swift repairs here from Eternal's engineers. Up north here, defending the Northern Victor Point with a Grenadier squad there with the light machine gun. Molotov to flush them out. Force them to skedaddle out of the back door. There we go, T4 Finndeed. Pretty much confirming what we already kind of suspected. He was going to go for the Tiger tank. Meanwhile, Eternal here bring up another T-3045. North against the countries there. Light machine gun fire, they're riddling them with bullets. Gundy is wiped out. Panther 4, they've been repaired. Pioneers reinforcing. He's close again to having the fuel for the Tiger tank. He's roughly 2 minutes away, but manpower-wise, it's going to be much longer to get, I think, enough manpower safely put together for that. In the south, he's being met here with MD-42 suppressed, but oh, the way the MD-42 firing, it's, there we go, narrowly suppressed the other squad there in time as well. And another Katyusha batch against double packs, machine gun bunched up. They're definitely a bit risky there for Finndeed, and didn't help as badly as it did on that barrage there, but still was pretty bloody close here. Panther being fixed up. 11 kills on the T-35, and the second one has now arrived here for Eternal. And Finndeed's pack crew here is in some deep sauerkraut as Eternal goes to town on it. North got guns pushed back the Conquest Squad here. Panther around to stabilise the scene, perhaps. Getting ever closer to that Tiger tank. Getting behind the Grenadiers here, and reinforcement healing here. T-35 further rolling out for him. Panther 4 shoots, whiffs. Panther engaging there. At least trying to engage here through the shed, but it's not quite working out there. Panther shoots, misses. T-35 bouncing off the Panther frontal armor. Smoke being deployed by Eternal, very efficient. Completely messes here, I think, with Finndeed's defenses. Yeah. It makes it easier for Eternal just to push up here, so thumbs up to Eternal there. Thumbs up. Panther 4 need repairs rapidly. T-35 there, half 8 of actually 2 engagement Grenadiers out in the open. And they are quickly sent packing. Again, North side could see more action. Got the half to the conscript moving in there. Would be a great time to send in the Panther 4 to clear that out. Double packs is shooting. One actually gets a shot there through the tiny house, but the other one fails to penetrate. In the south here, T-35 up at the Sun Victor Point could fit into flank behind the pack 40s here, causing some grief there for Finndeed. Well, even more grief. There we go. We've got the Panther 4 coming the flank line. The pack 40s enough time to turn around against the T-35. There you go. Bunched up. They are easy prey here for the Katyusha, and the first pack crew gets obliterated in the first volley here by Eternal Katyusha. Got 13 kills on it. Panther 4 moving in here. Going straight forward. Veggie 2 gains. Shoots and added about to as the Panther 4 don't get smoke here popped, allowing the Panther 4 to somewhat safely disengage. Other T-35 looks like another case of mine goes off under Eternal stuff, and both T-35s escape. His Finndeed cannot finish them off. But he is getting close to the Tiger tank. He is getting close. But it's also quite clear at this point Finndeed is pretty much putting all of his eggs into a Tiger tank shaped basket. Which is not exactly the most common type of basket to carry eggs in. Onkahi close to being knocked out here by Eternal's vicious field gun crews. 11 kills them before 2. Still no sign of the incendiary appears rounds here by Finndeed. Contra the close being knocked out though. That's pretty handy. So on the fuel pond being grabbed again. Another Katyusha for Eternal. More rocket artillery. Which to rock Finndeed's world. Nope, cancels it. That goes for a maximum machine gun. And that's not a bad idea either. You could also go for another field gun, but I'm guessing Eternal either doesn't care about the Tiger tank or isn't considering it. Both are possibilities, honestly. Could be a bit above. Coming from the south here is the Grenadiers. Tiger tank though is moments away from Finndeed and the 3rd Panzer Division. Going to swapped up with the heavy mortar. 11 kills then. The south against the country support there. Backed up with the heavy machine gun team there. We've got a T-35 rolled in there again. Lack of tank spot, but he does get a wipe. That's a small win for Finndeed. His opponent's on 2 squads. Well, Finndeed is as well though, so yeah. That's not so much gaining advantage, just slightly removing his opponent's advantage. But there you go. Tiger tank in 1, 2, 3. There we go. Tiger gefechtsbereit. Will this lead for Finndeed to glory? Medals? Or will he just throw it away? We'll have to see here. Machine gun getting metric 2 here versus Eternal's encroaching infantry. The T-35 I think is just trying to clear out like shot blockers, you know, not more paths of maneuver and lines of fire. There you go. Finndeed's Panzerwaffe, his last hope that advances. His personal Steiner's Panzerarmee. Straight into the field gun, the T-30-35 here. Target tank that's already suffering heavy damage, and he's just not getting a lot in there versus Eternal, unfortunately. Already he's pulling back the target tank there. Finndeed is too afraid to commit any further. Doesn't help, he doesn't have like any infantry support to back up the target tank and Panther 4 there. Now we got the other troops bringing with infantry pack support, but again, no armor support, and well, really a big target for the Katyushas. I feel like Finndeed is getting a bit frantic here, scrambling for answers. Almost got the half track though, at least. Doesn't, and there you go, Katyusha fire. Really should have learned to like just spread out his packs a bit more after that first volley of Katyusha rocket. Oh well, almost got the engineers. He needs to get that target tank going, but he's insisting on finishing off repairing here. Pulling ahead here, getting some damage in on Eternal, but Eternal's getting so much damage in on Finndeed in return. Panther 4's moving forward here. Cannoneers in deep shice. Panther 4's from the T-35 pack 4 lands a good hit. We got Guardman 40 for Eternal. Panther 4 could maybe deal with him. Tiger tank finally moving up here. He realizes he can't afford to sit about doing nothing. Almost got the T-35. Got the second one moving in here. There's still the Guardsman. Tiger tank turning about here with its massive frame. Contra there taking hits. Panther 4 finding weight, but it's not quite hitting. Pack 4 is about to be seized here by Eternal under Finndeed's nose. See, need to kill that pack. Crew before it's too late. We got Pioneers with an MG42 as Finndeed has suffered another infantry loss. Panther 4 here goes in for the deep flank against Eternal. Wipes the pack 4. His men are being murdered here by the Maxim. Panther 4 in trouble here. Needs support, but it's not happening. We've got a marked target here. I think more than, yeah, signifying the death blow here with the Panther 4, leaving Finndeed now with just the armed car and the Tiger tank. Finndeed at this point has successfully pushed away Eternal from the center, but at an incredible cost here. And the question is, can he hold these gains for much longer then? Because I think a good counterattack here, once Eternal gets his stuff fixed up, he's just going to risk crashing Finndeed. In particular, the lack of infantry, I think, is going to be a significant reason. He's actually risking the Tiger tank now. Realizing it's all or nothing there, but instead he gets focused down by a lot of stuff there. Field gun T-35s. There you go, about to lift the Tiger tank here. Armored car out. Doesn't even get the T-35 though. The Tiger tank just does enough damage there to deal. Pack wiped and destroyed. He's got the Tiger tank down as well at this point. Finndeed, I think it's safe to say, is out of the war here. A loss for the German army. The 3rd Panzer Division will have to fall back here in the face of the 4th Guards tank Coh here. I think he has dropped out. Again, just one of those cases where the game takes a bit of time to realize and react on this. So, GG here. GG. Game over. And I feel like for Finndeed, part of the issue is just like not enough focus up here, and at times also some slightly questionable order choices, plus the unfortunate sensitive bunching up his stuff there in front of the Katyusha, which definitely made Eternal's job a lot easier than it had to be. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. You learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family, but don't enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. Till tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.